The Story of Civilization, Part 2. The Life of Greece, being a history of Greek civilization from the beginnings and of civilization in the Near East, from the death of Alexander to the Roman conquest, with an introduction on the prehistoric culture of Crete by Durant. Chapter 27, The Art of the Dispersion. Section 4, Commentary. This sudden eruption of humor into the once formal sanctuaries of Greek sculpture is a distinctive mark of Hellenistic art. Every museum has preserved from the ruins of the age some laughing faun, some singing Pan, some rioting Bacchus, some urchin serving as a fountain with alarming indecency. Perhaps the return of Greek art to Asia restored to it the variety, feeling, and warmth which it had almost lost in its classical subordination to religion and the state. Nature, which had been adored, began now to be enjoyed. Not that the classic moderation disappeared. The youth of Subiaco in the Museo della Terme, the sleeping Ariadne of the Vatican, the sitting maiden of the palace of the Conservatory, continue the delicate tradition of Praxiteles, and in Athens, throughout this period, many sculptors fought the modernistic tendencies of their time by deliberately going back to 4th and 5th century styles, even now and then, to the archaic dignity of the 6th. But the spirit of the age was for experiment, individualism, naturalism, and realism, with a strong countercurrent toward imagination, idealism, sentiment, and dramatic effect. Artists carefully followed the progress of anatomy and worked more from models in studios. Sculptors carved their figures to be seen not only from in front, but from all sides. They used novel materials, crystal, chalcedony, topaz, glass, dark basalt, black marble, porphyry, to imitate the pigment of Negroes, or the ruddy faces of satyrs illumined with wine. Their fertility of invention equaled their mastery of technique. They were tired of repeating types. They anticipated Ruskin's criticism. There's no personal character in Greek art. Abstract ideas of youth and age, strength and swiftness, virtue and vice, yes, but there is no individuality. Ruskin thought only of 5th and 4th century Greek art, just as Winckelmann and Lessing knew chiefly the art of the Hellenistic age, and were resolved to show the reality and individuality of the persons and objects they portrayed. They no longer confined themselves to the perfect and the beautiful, to athletes, heroes, and gods. They made genre pictures or terracottas of workingmen, fishermen, musicians, marketmen, jockeys, eunuchs. They sought unhackneyed subjects in children and peasants, in careful features like those of Socrates, in bitter old men like Demosthenes, and powerful, almost brutal faces like that of Euthydemus, the Greco-Bactrian king, in desolate derelicts like the old market woman of the Metropolitan Museum in New York. They recognized and relished the variety and complexity of life. They did not hesitate to be sensual. They were not parents anxious about the chastity of their daughters, nor philosophers disturbed by the social consequences of an Epicurean individualism. They saw the charms of the flesh and carved them into a beauty that might for a while laugh at wrinkles in time. Freed from the conventions of the classic age, they indulged themselves in tender sentiment and pictured, possibly with sincere feeling, shepherds dying of undelusioned love, pretty heads lost in romantic reverie, mothers fondly contemplating their children. These too seemed to them a part of the reality they would record. And finally, they faced the facts of pain and grief, of tragic catastrophes and untimely death, and they resolved to find a place for them in their representation of human life. No student with a mind of his own will join in any sweeping judgment about Hellenistic decay. A general conclusion to this effect serves too easily as an excuse for ending the story of Greece before the task is done. We feel in this period a slackening of creative impulse, but we are compensated by the lavish abundance of an art now completely master of its tools. Youth cannot last forever, nor are its charms supreme. The life of Greece, like every life, had to have a natural subsistence, and except a ripe old age, decadence had set in. It had bitten into religion, morals, and letters, and had left its stigmata upon individual works here and there, but the impetus of the Greek genius kept Greek art, like Greek science and philosophy, near their zenith to the end, and never in its isolated youth had the Greek passion for beauty, or the Greek power and patience to embody it, spread so triumphantly, or with such rich stimulation and result, into the sleeping cities of the East. There Rome would find it and pass it on.